Now we're all here, I cannot go without saying welcome to Hobbiton. I'd say you've picked the perfect day for it. It's absolutely beautiful out here. Now, how many people, just to really start it off, have actually seen either the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit film? Doesn't really matter what one. Good. So you know that the most important people are either Frodo or Bilbo Baggins, and they live in the best hobbit hole of all. And that's that big green door right up on top of the hill there. So that's just one of the 44 hobbit hole doors we do have out on set. And the main thing you should probably know is that they're not all the size that you thought they would be. Now, looking at that blue door, that's absolutely perfect. That's the size a hobbit hole should be. But whenever you were to see that, you'd also need to see somebody who's big to go along with it. So you've got to make them look big and you've got to make that look small. So, of course, Gandalf, he's that great tall wizard. He rides through that cutting right there. He travels past maybe 7 or 8 of those really small doors on his way up to Bag End. And we get it in our heads that everything is really small out here in Hobbiton. And when we see that big yellow door, or any witch of that size, that's only after we've seen Gandalf make everything look small. And basically, simply because it looks like a hobbit hole is enough to make us all think it must be just as small as everything else. We see the round door, the cute little garden and the fence and everything else, and we even see a person who's, to us, really small, but in real life they would be average height standing in front of that door, dressed up like a hobbit, and we would think they must be as small as everything over there to go along with it. So it's pretty easy. You just keep your big people in front of your small doors, and anybody else can stand in front of whatever door they fit in front of, and we all see it as everybody's about 4 foot tall and everything's real beautiful out here. Now, you might spot a little thing different with this one compared to other doors. There is actually some sort of interior structure to this hobbit hole. It's only the entranceway though, because if the camera were to be sitting at the gateway or even behind the door, we would see somebody walk up those steps, they would open up the door just enough for them to walk through, and we would see this inside of a hobbit hole, nicely decorated, and we'd all just think, well, they must be walking on this one, and so far, this one must be completely decked out with everything that it needs. Different rooms, couches, chairs, fireplace and everything else to go along with it. But like I said before, it was all in the studios in Wellington. Whenever they were down there, they would have, for the Lord of the Rings, 2 different sets. One of them, well, they both looked exactly the same, of course, they needed to, but one of them was this size. See, it's quite big, the door's quite big, a hobbit could walk through that, and we would think it was a hobbit hole. Now when Gandalf shows up, he's about twice the size as everybody else, so he needs to walk through that door and walk into a room which is just as small. So we would see him crawling around this really small hobbit hole, all of the furniture and everything else would be half the size it should be, and we'd see all the hobbits casually walking around the other one. Because we know they're different sizes, we never really worry about whether they are in the same hobbit hole at all times. important character in there. His name is Samwise Gamgee. And right at the end of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, we see him and his family walk inside this door right here. So this is of course his house, but not only is it one of the biggest doors out here and one of the best looking, this is where I can tell you the aging effects which are used out here on set. So just basically everything we've seen so far, it looks like it's been outside for a while, it looks like it's been through a few storms, some harsh summers maybe. The set has only been around for not quite 3 years. Definitely not enough time to get this amount of aging on it. So of course I had to make up a few things, and the first of those is absolutely everywhere. We've seen it everywhere we've gone, we will continue to see it even though there's not much to go, but it is all of the lichen which you've been seeing so far has been completely fake. All of it is made out of some pretty simple materials. You can make it at home if you wanted to, maybe if you want to make something with old. But the main ingredient, of course, it's paint. It's the colour that we've got right there. They add in some glue, some vinegar, some yogurt, and then the final touch, the texture that you've got is just wood chips, almost sawdust. All of those ingredients go into a few pretty big barrels. They get splattered all over the set. You see it's on the hobbit holes, on the chimney, on the little gateway here. They leave it to dry, and you're done. That's it. Nice and simple, but extremely effective as well.